This one's giving us a toast.
You raise your glass and shout.
Eh?
You can always take a bite out of me. They're dead.
From poisoning the goblins to reduce their numbers to setting off a bunch of barrels in a super cheesy spot, recruiting Minthara while still saving the grove with the new update.
Knows me everywhere.
They're out to getting all the best rewards, all while playing on the hardest difficulty mode, honor mode, with only the most skilled and honorable tactics. Highlighting what some of the hardest parts are that a lot of people lost their honor mode runs on. What you should not do versus certain legendary bosses.
Death can't have.
So this video is going to cover everything to do in Act 1, which will include the Underdark, the Creche, and the Grymforge. For the Creche and the Grymforge, I'm only focusing on the bosses though. I also have timelines for everything listed below. I made a few crazy looking maps that listed a few points of interest that you should visit. From where you rescue Zal, you can go through here and get the high advantage on the mercenaries guarding the dang crypt, and that's where Withers is at, which you might want to pick up early. He also has a soul coin in his crypt for Karlach. After that, you should head on over to the Grove and get the quest from Mole on stealing the idol. This part I've messed up on the past because I ended up grabbing Sylphie simply because the Star and Lae'zel didn't approve when I did let them go. If you want to get the ring from Mole though, you have to not get mad at Sylphie when she tries to steal from you. Save Mirkon and Arabella. If you saved Mirkon and Arabella and did end up grabbing Sylphie, then that alone would make Mole hostile towards you, which doesn't really make that much sense considering you saved their lives and just grabbed her arm when she tried to steal from you. To save Mirkon, it could end up costing you your honor mode, as this can be a pretty tough fight early on, not just to save yourself, but to save the boy as well. The best thing to do, I think, is to put everyone up on the ledge here and then send Lae'zel down to tank it. A few will fly up to you, which will put less pressure on Mirkon and Lae'zel. You want to attack one of the ones that are casting the song spell down there to let Mirkon escape. The other harpies will eventually cast the song spell as well though. You can easily hit the ones down below from the high ground, as well as healing Lae'zel. After saving Mirkon, he'll tell you the password for the hideout. Then you want to head on over to Kagha to save Arabella. You could risk stealing the rune from Wrath here to get the Spirit of Sorrow early on, which they do end up rewarding you with after you save the grove. You should stop by the servants' quarters here right next to Kagha and grab the items from the chest behind the wall here while keeping an eye out for the guards.
Softer than a whisper.
Also read the note that's on the desk and then talk to Kagha about it. This leads to stopping the ritual, which will then let you steal the idol, as well as stopping the progression of the grove that happens if you take too many long rests. The Teifling Hideout is right next to Will's training camp. Once you talk to Donnie after saving Mirkon, he'll reveal the location near this rock here.
And thanks for going easy on Sylphie. Not many marks would have done the same. I want to steal that big, shiny idol they're all chanting at.
If you take the elevator up near the ritual after getting the bear to move, you'll have the option to not kick the squirrel after he bites you, unless you're playing Dark Urge. If you persuade him to share his territory with you, he'll give you a hyena ear, which if you combine enough of them together, it'll craft one of the best potions in the game, giving you 1 extra action point per turn. Behind him is the Bugbear Assassin. If you end up taking the back route here, he'll always end up killing this target, So you have to end up going around the other side to end up saving the target. If you save them and persuade them, they'll end up giving you a soul coin for Karlach.
Still alive, so that's progress.
You have good timing. Never been much of a fighter, so wrestling a bugbear would have gone poorly. Here. Now go back to the pit that made you.
Should come up to Alfria here, which is on the ledge near the ritual circle. I wasn't even aware of this until my third playthrough, but she can end up teaching you how to play an instrument, which is pretty nice as she gives you some performance attributes as well. I always wanted to play an instrument in the game, but I just don't want to have to sacrifice any feat points into it. Besides having something extra cool to do, it also counts towards achievement if you gather a crowd around. If you ask her what the song's about, she'll end up singing the song perfectly with a nice cutscene on the ritual. But you don't want to pick that option, as you'll miss out on learning how to play an instrument.
Words of mine will turn to ash. That's perfect.
Near the Emerald Grove waypoint, you can access the underground passage here, which is the better route to access it through this way, as you'll end up catching the goblins from behind on the high ground. This is also the first time that I noticed Findal here, and also the first time that I threw a potion on someone. The game was just never hard enough on normal to have to do that, but you'll find out that you'll have to do it often in honor mode or tactician, as it'll not only potentially heal multiple allies, but it'll also res allies with however much the potion heals for. Findal is also totally worth healing because, to my surprise, he came to my aid when I was confronting Kagha. You should come here to save Sazza, as it'll make it way easier to infiltrate the goblin camp. Rescue her by leading her back from the way you came in.
Believe it or not, but I witnessed a similar standoff back at the Yawning Portal. Of course, an establishment like that invites all sorts of outlandish entertainments. Oh, a drow, a dragonborn, and a cleric of Cyric walk into a bar. Your standard fare.
Welcoming the tadpole's influence will get you a tadpole here. Then you can just avoid the owlbear fight altogether and still get the owlbear cub from the goblin camp, as eventually he just ends up there regardless. Stop by here to recruit or kill Karlach. If you do kill her, you'll get a pretty nice piece of armor from Azora, which is pretty good for the early game. If you do recruit her and help her get her revenge, then this could be another spot you might lose your honor mode run on. You want to take out Cyrell first, as they'll cast a lot of annoying spells. By the time Anders comes in, the others are hopefully dead by that point, as he can easily kill one or two companions in one turn. Stop by the Blighted Village to grab the Book of Thay, a piece of Infernal Iron, and to rescue Barkus. You can jump down the hole in the well to access the Underdark, which is one of 4 paths. I have a more detailed video on the Blighted Village that I'll link below. If you have Karlach, you want to head back to the Grove at this point to give Dammon a piece of the Infernal Iron. Next, I went to get the piece of evidence against Kagha to stop the ritual, and then I just went to take on Auntie Ethel after that, but you might want to come here later, as that could be a pretty difficult fight. And once you get the eye from Volo, that will make it a lot easier. Be careful of the imps here, as they do explode and do a lot of damage. Stop on by the waypoint near the tea house here, and you can drink from the well, which will increase your hit points, but it will eventually just make you nauseous as well. If you drink from it twice after being nauseous, then you become sickened, which will make you vulnerable to most forms of damage. In order to cure that, you have to do a long rest. Then you might as well just give up an eye to Auntie Ethel, because who needs those? This will make the hard fight even harder though, as you'll have a disadvantage against hags. She will give you a temporary buff that will increase all of your stats if you say she's not strong enough to cure you. The easiest way to kill her is to just surprise attack her while she's in her tea house. While having Volo's Eye, she'll immediately try to go back into her lair, and you can just kill her there before she reaches the steps. If you take this route, you'll miss out on the perma-buff deal she tries to make with you though. The strat for Auntie Ethel, as well as every other enemy in honor mode, is to separate your party and then put them into stealth mode. If you leave most of your members far enough behind, then they won't be initiated into the battle. Just don't act with the first person that is in battle, that way the turn is frozen. And then switch to your other party members while they're still in stealth. Then you want to sneak one party member up at a time. This way your whole party has the first attack every time. You can save Mirina if you use water or ice spells or items on her cage. Multiple target spells like magic missiles or scorching ray come in really handy against Auntie Ethel's illusions here. It only takes minimal damage to destroy the illusions. When Auntie Ethel swaps places with Mirina, it could be pretty easy to see where she is if you're keeping an eye on her. The illusions can cast whole person, which is pretty annoying. You'll then have to destroy that illusion in order to break them free. Lots of potion throwing was required for this one. When you bring Auntie Ethel down to about 30% health, she'll make you an offer. You can try to intimidate her, which might be bugged and not worked, or persuade her to give you both Mirina and the perma buff. I just agreed to give up Mirina and take the perma buff, as she's not really that important later in the game. She does give you a reward for killing Auntie Ethel, but it's not that great. You should still be able to get the concoction from her safe as well. Plus, I just felt like I was about to lose that fight. Giving up Mirina and letting Ethel go will reward you with a chunk of her hair, and that will give you a +1 permabuff to any stat of your choice. If you come back where you came down prior to fighting Ethel, but you come up on the other side of the vines, you can access the Underdark here as well if you put on one of the followers' masks. You don't want to put on that mask before you take out Auntie Ethel or make the deal with her. Otherwise, you'll become brainwashed and attack your teammates.
Just when I was getting used to the sky.
Grab anything that looks useful here, the amulet and the staff, and better divorce if you save Mirina. I tried to get Connor without saving Mirina, but it wouldn't let me target him, so I just picked him up and threw him on the ground. Which worked, but he wasn't so obedient this time. Head back to the grove to expose Kagha. It'll take 2 dice rolls to persuade her, which will make the fight way easier.
When the darkest hour fell, it was us that brought light.
First thing I immediately noticed was Findal was there from the other passage to have your back. I thought that was pretty cool, even though he didn't do much. At this point, you can steal the idol, and you just want to go into stealth mode and not let them see you while picking it up. Then just run. You should put your companions far enough back because, unlike most times, if they don't catch the person that stole it, then they'll automatically blame the nearest one. At which point you'll have to pass a dice roll to get away with it.
Has been stolen. Choose your next move carefully.
Return to Mole and give her the idol for a pretty amazing early game ring. Then you can just steal it back off of her. She'll end up commenting on that later on the Teifling celebration as well, mentioning that she wants to recruit whoever had stole it from her. Stop by Crusher to suck the ring off of his toe for a pretty hilarious reaction from your companions.
Go on. Kiss more foot.
I feel I should warn you that the average goblin foot is host to some 24 toe-curling diseases.
You heard me. That's more like it.
As your lips touch filthy flesh, you catch a whiff of lavender. The pleasant scent gives way to the muddy taste of something you try not to identify. You carefully slide the ring off.
You enjoying that? Disgusting worm. Just remember, you're nothing here.
Impressive. Though I'm not sure I want to know why you're so skilled at that.
I think it's fairly obvious. And impressive.
The ring is pretty good early on as well, boosting your movement by 3 meters. Talk to Volo to get him down, and then spike the drinks with pretty much any poison will do. This will dwindle down their numbers if they do happen to call for backup, and it'll make freeing the owlbear cub way easier.
Over here, lads! I propose a toast! What you standing here all dry for? Come here, have a drink! What should we toast to, eh?
They're dead!
Otherwise, you'll have to do this fun but annoying game, which you probably won't want to do once you've already done it. You can use Scratch to block and help out, but you can't use any of your other companions. They will question you if you're just hanging around while they've been poisoned.
That's the game done. Come here.
You poisoned us! Snap. You're right.
You should get branded from Priestess Gut, as some weapons and accessories only work with the brand. Then, since Shadowheart disapproves, you might as well brand her too. What's one more to the hand? You might as well just brand everyone in your party actually, as there's no negative side effects. If you decide to take out Priestess Gut in her room, make sure it's done in one turn, otherwise she'll call for backup. Behind her is this jail room, and there's this rocky crevice here which you can go into with a gnome shape. The Mask of the Shipshifter is in your camp storage if you haven't gotten it yet. Inside that room is a bunch of smoke powder barrels in here, which will come in pretty handy later on. Just send them all off to your storage for now if you can't carry them. There's also a chest in here with some gold, as well as the design you need for the puzzle in order to access the Underdark. Leave the way you came in from, otherwise they'll be hostile. Heading further up, you'll come across that puzzle that you need in order to access the Underdark from here. Wait till the Minotaur dies from the turret, and then shoot the crystal on top of the statue to disable it.
More effort than a pit of spikes. Credit where it's due.
Return to the Goblin camp to get the permabuff bondage blessing. Then save Volo that's right next to him on the east side.
Don't go bothering my pigeon. It's mine's the key.
Halsin is also on the northeast side. You just want to leave some companions further back, as if the goblins escape the room, then they'll end up calling for reinforcements. You want to tell Halsin to stay here. Once you take out the 3 that he mentions, he'll just vanish back to the grove. You want to destroy a few of these drums that are found just laying around, as they use them to call for reinforcements, but you just don't want them to see you while you're doing it. You actually don't even have to kill any of these goblins in the main center room here. You can also jump up from where Priestess Gut's room is at, and also access the smoke powder bombs that way if you don't have the shapeshifter mask. There are multiple ways to access the top floor here, but the easiest is from the center where Priestess Gut does the branding, on the multiple ladders in the center room. The ladder near Ragslin will bring you to the very top. I just set up all those barrels near Ragslin, and he's the main threat. You can fight him and his whole group up here no problem without Minthara even noticing. One guard near Minthara will notice, but he just ends up climbing the ladder up and down trying to access you from the other side of the wall, but he can't. You could just throw or push any of the goblins that try to come up the ladder. Just be careful that they don't do the same to you. It's good to spread out a bit so that you can hit them from multiple angles. Once you take out this group, you shouldn't try to take out the eye because it'll be immune to damage after a few initial hits. You could toss it into the spider pit, but they won't be able to kill it either. So what you want to do is walk far enough away from it, somewhere around where the gate is at, which has another piece of infernal iron in the treasure, by the way. Once you're far enough from the enemy, then you can retreat back to your camp to heal up. You might have to click that for each individual party member, by the way. Rest up because you'll need it before you face Minthara.
I promised I'd be back. Don't worry. I have things under control.
You might get a chance to give up an eye during that rest of Willow, which you can do to any of your companions. And you should, as it will give you a magical eye that can see invisibility targets. The only downside of this one is all of your companions disapprove, and it changes the appearance of your eye. Return to Minthara to get smacked down by 53 points of damage. To keep her alive and recruit her, you need to knock her out with the non-lethal damage. In order to do that, you gotta drag it from your skill tab. It only works with melee and unarmed attacks, by the way.
Blood follows me everywhere.
Be careful of the group that's hidden behind the wall here, as they can catch you off guard if you're not prepared for them after that fight. Back around where you found Karlach, further north you'll find some gnolls. You want to sneak around to the high ground here, and if you've unlocked the ability to consume tadpoles at this point, which is when you'll have your first dream visitor encounter, then you'll be able to turn the gnoll leader on their troops. With 2 more dice rolls after that, you can get them to kill themselves.
Very deep.
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
Sensing your presence, the gnoll's tadpole writhes in ecstasy. Your tadpole wriggles, contented, as she tears out her own throat.
There's an illithid parasite in that corpse. You should take a look.
You can then convince Rugan to just give you the chest as a deal, as well as the passcode to enter the Zhentarim, which is nearby. That chest contains a vial with a spectator that you could use to throw at enemies. You definitely don't want to just open it though.
I like the way you think.
Coming back there will be some more gnolls where you can attack from the high ground here. Further to the west, you'll find a building on fire. You can break through the rubble on the right here and stack some boxes to jump up to free Counselor Florrick for a pretty nice reward of your choice. You also have the option to save her yet again in Act 3, and if you save her again in Act 3, she'll lend some troops for the final battle at the end. The Zhentarim base is located just a little bit west of here, right behind the boxes. Give the passcode in order to go down, then you'll see the fate of Rugan.
You spot a man.
You can take him out to get access to their exclusive wares, then free the artist by buying him and then paying his fee to go home, which will then open up another quest in Act 3.
Look at that.
You. The way you handled Zaris. You're not one of her folk.
So maybe I was fishing. No fooling you. He's all yours. Don't forget to feed him.
I don't suppose you could spare some coin, could you? Ease the discomforts of the road some.
Once you have their trust, you can go up to the top level to gain the height advantage. I didn't realize it until I shot this fire barrel, but the whole floor must be covered in whiskey or something. Heading further back, the other members won't even be alerted with all that noise. You can easily take them out with the other barrels nearby. Just be careful of the explosion range. The button nearby here disables the traps. There's also an invisible wall near the gate here that will lead you down to the Underdark as well. In one of the chests is another Infernal iron for Karlach's engine, which you'll have all the pieces now to totally cure her at this point, as long as you didn't kill the strange ox in Emerald Grove. Another chest has a pretty nice pair of gloves with this neat aura, and it gives resistance to all of your summons for all forms of damage besides psychic, but it does come with the negative side effect to potentially make them mad and attack you. The Voss fight is definitely another good spot to lose your honor mode run on. Sarth is just like a level 12 Lizelle, getting off around 4 attacks per turn. They totally destroyed the ogres that will lend you a hand from the Blighted Village. But you can take them out without getting hit at all, just with the same strat of separating your party and getting off that first attack for every party member. You want to focus on Sarth first, as they do the most damage. After making your attacks, you want to move back out of their range so that they can't attack you. You could also just easily avoid this whole fight with just a few dice rolls, especially if you have Lizelle in your party. You will miss out on some experience if you go with the persuasion route though.
Let's march. Open up. Moving.
For the mountain pass, you could kill Lady Ester, as she has a lot of valuable items that she drops upon her death. If you do give her the Githyanki egg though, she will end up getting it hatched. You can end up killing that Githyanki child, which sounds pretty messed up, but he does have a unique amulet on him that's pretty good. For the Creche, you can avoid attacking the kobolds, as they won't be hostile until you do. You can actually just avoid most of the enemies here and just lockpick the stone wall if you can detect it with a high enough perception and a high enough lockpick. It does require a pretty steep roll of 20 or 30 to crack it though. Grab the crest for the legendary mace, then head down to the Zaith'isk for the few tadpoles laying around and to potentially increase your tadpole's powers. If you pass the rolls, then you'll be able to use your illithid powers as a bonus action. If you fail, you'll just end up with a little brain damage, no biggie. Get to the high ground to be able to take out the Githyanki merchants in the back, which won't be alerting the ones down beneath. The Inquisitor you might want to save to your level 6 or 7. Actually came back here after he nearly killed me and just did the Underdark first. A lot of people have lost their honor mode runs here, as he has a really annoying legendary ability that anytime you attack him or his allies, he summons a sword at your location. You could throw the ruined smoke powder barrel at him, which you get from the Grymforge, which will kill everyone but the Inquisitor. Best thing to do is just set up a position without getting too close to him to trigger the cutscene. Then have one person near the exit with invisibility just in case you need to escape. You want to just focus on the Inquisitor using potions or spells of haste that give you extra attacks. Gloomstalker and Open-Handed Monk are some of the strongest builds in the game, so I recommend having those too. I have Gale as a wizard sorcerer for the extra attacks and spells. As soon as you kill the Inquisitor, all of his swords will vanish, making the fight so much easier. You can reposition out of the sword's range so that you're not at a disadvantage for your attacks. Going to the Underdark, starting from where you accessed it from the Goblin camp, you'll find a pretty nice sword to the west here that you can pull out with strength or religion. Pretty neat seeing it being pulled out with religion. That's the first time I saw it, as it just comes out on its own. You do have to offer up some blood though, but it only takes 1 hit point from you. The Spectator is also easily accessed from the outpost, but you might want to save him for the last, as it can be a pretty tough fight.
In the air in silent offering.
From where you jump over to access the Festering Cove, you can ascend here. You want to destroy the web for a pretty nice armor piece. Then you can climb up here and jump over to the left to avoid all the traps. Tossing the other Spectator from the chest that you got makes for a pretty interesting battle. Grabbing Glut here will help you with the fight if you don't use the Spectator to absorb some damage. While taking out Dorn, you can swap characters and just toss him off the ledge while he's talking to you. Grab the Icy Helve from his body. I had trouble remembering where the Spectator is at, but I just realized that you can access it from the outpost here very easily. You can get Glut to help you in the Underdark as soon as you accept the quest from Spa. You should talk to Blurg and tell him that you're infected with a parasite. He'll then call his buddy Omelium, which will send you on a pointless quest, but if you meet him here, he'll have some interactions in Act 3 that can be pretty useful. You could just skip this whole quest and just pickpocket him for the reward that he gives you, which is this ring. Using a potion of animal speaking while talking to this hole will let you speak with the Bulette, which is the giant burrowing creature that attacks you. has some extra lore behind it as well at the Arcane Tower.
Cool echoes as it plunges downward before gradually fading away.
Quiet! Or your meat will fill my belly. You disturb me still. Enough! Away from here! I want you, flesh bag. You better run.
The mushroom picker, this is always the way that I get the shroom. I normally end up saving Balin though, but I was just curious to see his wife's reaction. I knew it was an abusive relationship, which you'll find out if you give him the noble stock to restore his memory. But I wasn't quite expecting that reaction from her.
Dead? Worthless old fool. He had one bleeding job. Love? Never heard of it. Balin was a rotten old bastard. Treated me like an old shoe for 70 years before his mind started to go. Softened him up. Made him realize how much he needed me. Losing his mind was the only good he ever did by me. My husband. 80 soggin years together, and he leaves me in the lurch like this. I should have killed him myself. Collecting noble stock. Valuable mushroom. We've a shop in Boulder's Gate. The locals go mad for it. Not no more, though. Ah. To no surprise of mine, you're more competent than Balin. Go on, then. Hand it over. Thanking you.
Head further west for the Icy Crystal. It really is kind of overpowered, the group separation with the first attacks for every party member. You can sneak right up next to him without even noticing, as long as you're out of his line of sight. But he's pretty damn blind, talk about zero peripheral vision. Walk up to the branches here for the sorcerer bark to craft the weapon at the Blighted Village. Coming further down here, you'll find a dog's grave which you can dig up for the collar. You can wear that collar and press a button in the Arcane Tower to get some meat, just for a little bit of extra lore surrounding the tower.
It's got runes all over it.
Head to the Underdark beach, but you want to leave Glut behind if you have him here. You can agree to work with the Dweggers, but only to get a better position to attack them. There's no real benefit to siding with them, even if you're doing an evil playthrough. It's good to stay on the high ground here to give you some distance between you and the massive amount of zombies that are going to get spawned. Return to Spa and make sure to talk to him so he unlocks the door for your reward. If you have Glut with you at this point, he'll want to take over the colony because Spa didn't come to his aid when Nier attacked him in his colony.
So generous is Spore, mighty sovereign. Give a peace bringer. What is this?
Some think this is an evil route if you side with Glut, because some would think that you'd have to kill out the whole colony because they do become hostile. But as soon as you kill Spa, then the rest become friendly again. Glut will reward you with an amulet that gives you a bonus to intimidation, rather than spas, which I think gives you a bonus to persuasion. Inside the little treasure room there is the spear that you need to combine the last pieces of the staff together. Don't miss out on the Shadow of Menzoberranzan helmet here, as it doesn't just look nice, but provides you with some invisibility, which always comes in handy. The Arcane Tower is accessed from the Decrepit Village waypoint. You want to climb up the ladder and jump over the ledge here, then hang a right. You want to have some of these sorcerer flowers from the tree to be able to disable the turrets. You can get away with just grabbing one. You want to run past this first turret here fast enough just so that the tower can't hit you. It's kind of hard to toss a flower on this one anyway. You can just walk by them with invisibility as well. On the floor beneath, you'll find the ingredients needed for the potion Omelium will make you.
Maybe I need more pockets.
Then make your way to the bottom of the tower where you can grab a few more flowers, which you'll need in order to power the elevator.
Better not be cursed.
On the floor right before the very top, you'll find the button that dispenses the dog food if you have the collar on, as well as some lore about Orpheus and some other books that you want to take a look at. You want to read the Book of the Roads to Darkness. The robot will then give you a ring rather than attacking you, which once you wear it, it will let you access the secret hidden basement. It's got a ton of scrolls in there as well as a staff.
My ring it. Must have been linked to that button.
There's also another poem in there that will let you ask the robot if you can hold his hands just for a little while.
Of course, my love. Don't be afraid, sweet girl. What can I do? Say, would you like a hug? Come here. For your soul, your voice. Alas,
acidic liquid tightens your throat, burning on the way down.
Head back to the beach to access the Grymforge. I have a whole nother, more detailed video on the Grymforge that I'll link below. You basically want to get Brithvar's help to take out Nier, then return the boots to the sergeant for a pretty nice armor piece for monks. Then you can just get the boots back after you kill her. The main thing to watch out for with Nier is not to use multiple attack spells on him, as his legendary attack triggers every time he's hit. Nearly cost me my honor mode run because I didn't really know what the hell was going on. Just used a magic missile level 3 on him right after using Scorching Ray. You just have to stay far back enough away from him to prevent that damage, it seems, but the range is pretty far on it. For Grim, you can put the mold inside the slot, take the elevator down, and then teleport back up. Recruit a hireling Dweger that's a druid, and then shoot the lever with an arrow to activate the lava again. Use Enlarge on your Dweger, then Owlbear form, and then pounce on Grim to kill it in one hit. You could also just throw weapons and armor from this height, and it'll do a ton of damage as well. This hasn't been patched, as I just did it a few days ago. Grim could be a risky fight as well if you fight him normally, as he does a pretty strong lightning damage attack that knocks you into the lava. You could also hit him with a Forge Hammer that does do a ton of damage, but it can be a little tricky getting him near that. You could use the Silent Spell, which prevents thunder damage, but there's nothing like just dropping a giant owlbear on him. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.